The rain fell in a soft, steady patter against the windows of the upscale Manhattan restaurant, casting a silvery glow over the polished tables and velvet chairs. Emily Harper sat alone at a corner booth, her manicured fingers tapping idly on her phone. The CEO of Harper Tech, a rising star in the tech world, was used to commanding boardrooms, not waiting for blind dates. Her sharp green eyes flicked to the door, irritation creeping in. She wasn't here by choice. Her best friend, Claire, had insisted she try something new or someone new. "You're too busy running an empire," Claire had said. "Give love a chance." Emily scoffed at the thought, but here she was, humoring her friend. The man was late. Typical. Outside, the city hummed with life. Taxis honked, their yellow bodies weaving through the drizzle. Emily glanced at her watch as 7:15 p.m. She sighed, her breath fogging the chilled wine glass in front of her. The waiter, a young man with a polite smile, approached cautiously. "Another minute, ma'am?" he asked. Emily nodded, her lips tight. She wasn't used to waiting. At 35, she had built a tech empire from nothing, her days filled with meetings, mergers, and million-dollar deals. A blind date with a single dad? It felt like a step backward. She pictured a bumbling, overworked man, probably with a minivan and a kid's sticky fingerprints on his jacket. She smirked, already crafting a witty text to Claire about this inevitable disaster. The restaurant door swung open, letting in a gust of cool, damp air. A man stepped inside, shaking rain from his dark hair. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with a quiet confidence that didn't quite match the worn leather jacket he wore. His name was Daniel Carter, though Emily didn't know that yet. He scanned the room, his hazel eyes landing on her. For a moment, their gazes locked, and Emily felt an unexpected flutter in her chest. He didn't look like the frazzled dad she'd imagined. He looked a broken bar steady, grounded. He approached her table, his steps measured, and offered a small, apologetic smile. "Emily?" he asked, his voice low and warm, like a fire on a cold night. She nodded, gesturing to the seat across from her. "You must be Daniel. You're late." Her tone was sharp, but she softened it with a half-smile. He sat, rubbing the back of his neck. "Sorry about that. My daughter, Lily, had a last-minute homework crisis." Fractions. He chuckled, and Emily noticed the faint crinkles around his eyes. He was older than she'd expected, maybe early 40s, with a calm presence that felt oddly disarming. The conversation started slowly, like the rain outside. Emily asked polite questions, her CEO instincts kicking in, assessing, analyzing. "Daniel was a carpenter," he said, running a small woodworking shop in Brooklyn. He'd been raising Lily alone since his wife passed 3 years ago. Emily listened, her mind half on the conversation, half on her phone buzzing with work emails. A carpenter? She pictured sawdust and splinters, a far cry from her world of glass offices and stock options. "So, you a broken bar make furniture?" she asked, her tone betraying a hint of condescension. Daniel nodded, unfazed. "Tables, chairs, cabinets, whatever people need to feel at home." His words were simple, but there was a quiet pride in them. Emily leaned back, sipping her wine. She couldn't help it as she was judging him. A single dad with a blue-collar job? She'd expected someone more. A broken bar impressive. Her life was a whirlwind of high-stakes decisions, and this man seemed like he belonged in a different world. She made a mental note to tease Claire later. This was her grand matchmaking plan. Still, Daniel's calm demeanor intrigued her. He didn't try to impress her, didn't name-drop or boast. He just a broken bar was. They talked about Lily, about his shop, about her tech empire. The conversation flowed, but Emily kept her guard up, her heart safely tucked behind her polished exterior. As dessert arrived, a shared slice of cheesecake neither had much appetite for. Emily's phone buzzed again. She glanced at it, frowning. A security alert from Harper Tech's main office. A breach in their system. Her pulse quickened. "I have to go," she said abruptly, standing. Daniel looked up, surprised but not offended. "Everything okay?" he asked. She waved a hand, already distracted. "Work emergency. Thanks for a broken bar." She grabbed her coat and hurried out, leaving Daniel with the cheesecake and a half-empty wine glass. The rain had stopped, but the streets were slick as Emily's driver sped toward Harportech's downtown headquarters. In the back seat, she barked orders into her phone, her mind racing. A cyber attack was no small thing, and her company's data was its lifeblood. By the time she reached the office, her team was in chaos. Monitors flickered with error messages, and her lead engineer, Sarah, looked pale. "It's bad, Emily. Someone's locked us out of the main servers. They're demanding a ransom." Emily's stomach dropped. This wasn't just a glitch, it was a crisis that could tank her company. Hours passed in a blur of coffee and panic. Emily paced the office, her heels clicking on the hardwood floor. Her team worked frantically, but the hackers were steps ahead. By midnight, Emily felt the weight of her empire crumbling. She stepped onto the balcony for air, the city lights blurring through her tired eyes. That's when she heard a faint creak from the stairwell below. Her office was on the 20th floor. No one should be there. Her heart pounded. She grabbed her phone, but the signal was dead. The lights in the office flickered, then went out. In the darkness, she heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Someone was coming. Emily backed toward the balcony's edge, her breath shallow. She was alone, vulnerable, her usual control slipping away. The footsteps grew closer, and a figure emerged from the shadows. A man in a black hoodie, his face obscured. He held something in his hand, a knife, glinting in the moonlight. "Stay back," Emily shouted, her voice trembling. The man didn't speak. He moved closer, his steps eerily calm. She glanced over the balcony's edge, too high to jump. Her mind raced for options, but fear clouded her thoughts. Then, a second figure appeared behind the man, moving silently. Before Emily could scream, the newcomer tackled the intruder, pinning him to the ground with practiced ease. The knife skidded across the floor. The lights flickered back on, and Emily's breath caught. It was Daniel. His leather jacket was gone, replaced by a plain t-shirt, but his hazel eyes were unmistakable. He held the intruder down, his movements precise, almost military. "Call the police," he said, his voice steady but urgent. Emily fumbled for her phone, her hand shaking as she dialed 911. Within minutes, sirens wailed below, and the intruder was in cuffs. Daniel stood, brushing his hands on his jeans. Emily stared at him, her mind reeling. "How a broken bar? Why are you here?" she stammered. He gave a small, sheepish smile. "You left your scarf at the restaurant. I thought I'd drop it off. Saw your building's lights go out and got a bad feeling. I know my way around security systems. I used to work private security before carpentry." He pulled her scarf from his pocket, handing it to her. It was soft, a stark contrast to the chaos of the night. Emily took the scarf, her fingers brushing his. "Private security?" she asked, still processing. Daniel nodded. "Long story. Did a stint overseas, learned a few things, didn't think I'd need them tonight." He paused, his eyes softening. "You okay?" Emily nodded, though her knees felt weak. The adrenaline was fading, leaving her raw. She looked at Daniel, or really looked at him. The man she dismissed as ordinary had just saved her life. They sat in her office as the police took statements. The cyber attack was still a problem, but the immediate danger was gone. Daniel stayed, offering quiet support as Emily's team worked through the night. By dawn, they'd regained control of the servers, thanks to a breakthrough from Sarah. Exhausted, Emily leaned back in her chair, Daniel beside her. The first rays of sunlight filtered through the blinds, casting a warm glow over the room. "I misjudged you," Emily admitted, her voice soft. "I thought a broken bar. I don't know what I thought, but you're not what I expected." Daniel chuckled, his eyes crinkling again. "You're not what I expected either. Thought you'd be all business, no heart. But I saw you out there, fighting for your company. You've got both." His words hit her harder than she expected. For the first time in years, Emily felt seen, and not as a CEO, but as a person. They talked until the morning shift arrived, the conversation easy, unguarded. Emily learned about Daniel's past, his time in security, his love for Lily, his quiet life shaping Wood into something lasting. He learned about her dreams, her fears, the loneliness behind her success. The gap between their worlds didn't seem so wide anymore. As they stepped out into the morning light, the city waking around them, Emily felt a shift. She'd spent years building walls, chasing success, But maybe what she needed was something simple, someone who saw her, who showed up. Daniel glanced at her, his smile warm. "Coffee?" he asked. She laughed, the sound light and free. "Only if you're not late this time." They walked to a nearby diner, the air crisp with possibility. Emily didn't know where this would lead, but for once, she wasn't in a rush to control it. Sometimes, she realized, the best things come when you least expect them, when you let go and let life surprise you. So, take a chance. Say yes to the unexpected. You never know who might be waiting to change your story.